What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I am here, Nomad Eric, to review Money in the Bank 2025, Money in the Bank Los Angeles. Another PLE here on the 2025 schedule that, in my opinion, absolutely shined through. I thought this pay-per-view was excellent, or PLE, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was an excellent return. I know the last couple have been very controversial, very polarizing. I felt like this one has been relatively universally praised. Obviously, some people don't like the winners of the Money in the Bank matches. No one's ever happy when you have 6 top wrestlers and their fan bases all going head-to-head against each other. Of course, you're going to piss people off. And of course, I feel like they made it all up with the main event. Even though the match wasn't the best, but we'll get into that in a second. As always, I am here. Kane is back with reviews. He's finally was able to get this. I am also, just a full disclosure, I am recording this video on Tuesday, so Monday Night Raw has already happened. That bullshit at the end has already happened. I am not going to let a Monday Night Raw influence these rankings at all. I would probably rank the main event maybe a little bit higher than what I ranked it, knowing what was coming, but obviously we don't know what was coming, so we're rating this based off of what we saw. So I just want to make you guys aware, I am not letting Monday Night Raw influence these ratings whatsoever, even though I do already know what comes next. On the side there, we have Rob's ratings. Just Rob this time, but we have Kane back, so that is great news. I apologize again. I mentioned this last time. This website has all of a sudden become riddled with ads, so I've had to like zoom things out so that everything's on the screen at the same time. I apologize for that. I might look for another tier list website for the future, but this is what I have right now, so this is what we're going to be using. We're going to start off with the women's Money in the Bank match. This was a match that was featuring Naomi, Julia, Roxanne, Alexa Bliss, Rhea, and Stephanie Vaquer. Personally, I thought this match was good. The wrestlers that were in it were definitely high caliber wrestlers. It was a very good mix of new wrestlers, new faces like Stephanie, Roxanne, and Julia. Your kind of veterans with Alexa Bliss and Naomi. Rhea Ripley, not a veteran of ladder matches. This is actually the first one she's ever been in, but the top woman on the roster as far as being over and fan support. You have to include her in this match, and I thought she shined out excellently. I thought Rhea looked amazing. I thought Stephanie Vaquer looked amazing. That devil's kiss spot on that ladder, cameraman, you deserve a raise. But it also looked good. It wasn't a botch. It was fluid. It looked great. Rhea took it great. Stephanie Vaquer, huge shout out to Stephanie, by the way. I'm gonna mention it in the next match. I'm not doing a review for Worlds Collide, but because I watched it kind of brokenly and kind of on the side, so I wasn't paying full attention to it, but huge fucking shout out to Stephanie Vaquer. Banger of a match on Friday Night SmackDown. Banger of a tag team match with Lola Vice against Dalis and Chica Tormenta at Worlds Collide. And then literally walked across the fucking parking lot and did this match to open the show. Huge fucking shout out to Stephanie Vaquer. Alexa Bliss is finally back in shape. She looks great. Roxanne shined through. Julia was excellent here. Again, really upset that Julia doesn't get the pop the other women do amongst the crowds, but that's going to come with time. And then Naomi, who would go on to win this match, much deserved. I thought she looked excellent in this match. Everyone got good offense in. Everyone was a part of the match. The one issue that I had with this match is a lack of top spots with the ladder. There was a couple of good ones, but a lot of it was the women interacting with each other, hitting their moves. There was, again, a couple of good spots with the ladder, but not as much as you would expect, and not as much as we have seen from women's Money in the Bank matches in the past, but the women that were in the match kind of made up for that a little bit. Which is why I believe all three of us kind of have this roughly in the same spot. I gave this match an 8 out of 10, as did Rob, as did Kane. Kane said possibly the strongest Money in the Bank lineup since the women's matches were introduced, just like I said. Incredible star power in all 6 women with 3 established names and 3 of the freshest wrestlers to leave Chef Michael's kitchen. Really happy with the result, as while an argument could be made for any of the women to win, and I do agree with that. Any woman in this match could have won and made a convincing case. I would say the weakest case would probably be Julia, because her line to a championship has kind of already been written. She's going to be going after the U.S. title. She doesn't need the Money in the Bank to do that, so she might have been the weakest winner out of this group, even though I do love Julia. I would not have complained had she won. Any of them have a case for it. Naomi's work since her return has been amazing, and there is an interesting direction to go with her as the holder. Spots were good, but not especially mind-blowing. Devil's Kiss aside, you know why. But they showcased all the talent well, especially Ripley, who looked like an absolute beast. Valkyria had a quieter night, but considering she had wrestled 3 matches in one day, within a 24-hour period, yeah, she did more than enough. I agree with that. I did feel like they kind of held her out for a lot of it. And I also kind of felt that way with the, if you do go back to watch that Worlds Collide match, I had similar critiques about that one. They kind of held her back, except for the second half of that match. Probably for the same reason, but still, I thought she did excellent. So I agree, 8 out of 10 across the board, exactly where this match should be. Next up, we have a match that was actually added the day of the event. We have Dominic Mysterio versus Octagon Jr. for the Intercontinental title. Octagon Jr. was in an amazing match at Worlds Collide. Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan were watching in the stands. Octagon Jr. had kind of a brawl, which was fucking awesome. I love seeing Dominic being able to let loose, and he was finally able to let loose at Worlds Collide. That brawl was fantastic. Really the first brawl you've seen Dominic Mysterio in, now that I think about it, which was a really cool sight to see. Dominic Mysterio challenged him to a match, put the title on the line, and so we had this match. A little bit shorter than I would have liked, personally. I thought it was good. Again, I thought it worked well. I loved seeing AAA get the exposure here. I loved seeing basically an ad for AAA and Worlds Collide. Hey, you didn't watch it, go watch it now so you can see this guy wrestle more in Octagon Jr. But I don't think it necessarily needed to be that long. This was a short, sweet, maybe a couple of extra minutes, because right when it got cooking, that's when it ended. And you guys know that I tend to take off points for that personally. But I am going to get outruled here. I gave this match a 6 out of 10 because of the length of time. I thought what we got was really good. I thought Octagon Jr. was able to showcase his abilities a little bit here. Dominic Mysterio was finally able to go up against someone that kind of matches his style a little bit more than what we really see in the WWE, outside of maybe Penta. So I really enjoyed seeing him kind of be able to let loose and do a little bit more with his arsenal in this match. And Octagon Jr. sold me on AAA a little bit as well. That, of course, Worlds Collide had kind of already done that anyway. Rob gave his match a B-, which is a 7 out of 10. Kane up there also gave it a 7 out of 10. So I'm going to get outvoted. This match is going to be a 7 out of 10. 2 out of 3. They showed Mr. Iguana before this match, so that's instantly +2 to the score. Dominic has really come into his own as a performer these past few years. This match is really only there to promote AAA merger and Worlds Collide to the wider WWE audience. Go watch Worlds Collide, very good show. A good way to show Octagon Jr. Curious if they'll mention the shared lore with Penta, but it's good to see it all the same. Glad to see Lucha Libre get the spotlight. So, again, 7 out of 10s from Rob and Kane, so that is where the match will go. Check it out. Next up we have the Women's Intercontinental title match between Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. This is their second go-around here. Becky would come out the winner on this one here. Listen, these two women are so fucking good, and it pisses me off that Rob gave us a B-. I actually talked to him about this, because he was going to give this match a 6, and then bumped it up to a 7. Rob is probably the only one that I've seen that wasn't crazy about this match. Everyone else gave this match glowing reviews. Everyone gave this match high stars. Everyone talked about how great these two women work together. It was amazing to see. I'm so glad that Lyra needed a feud with someone of the caliber of Becky Lynch. It sucks that she lost the title here. She did get her crowning win against Becky in the previous pay-per-view, but in this case, I feel like the title needed Becky. Becky needed this title. Lyra needed this feud. Even if Lyra doesn't reclaim this title, this feud has cemented Lyra as a big-name player. It's been her best character work. It's been her best 2 matches. These two are wrestling soulmates, and they are so fucking good together. And yet, for some reason, Rob argued with me saying that they're not, and they don't have chemistry, which listen, I never encourage sending hate, but if some of you guys could back me and Kane up in the comments, that'd be great, so we can show Rob that he's in the minority here. Rob gave this match a 7 out of 10. I gave it a 9, as did Kane. It is going to average out to an 8.3, so it's going to average out to an 8. Kane said, great heat to start the match with the early attack from Lyra. These two have great chemistry, and it's very clear that Becky wants to help Lyra become a star for the new generation of women, as even with Lynch taking the win, Lyra got some momentum back with the assault after the match. Lots of counters, fast-paced and technical. Lyra is absolutely fantastic. Great match. Really isn't much else to say about this match. I thought it was excellent. Again, their chemistry is so good that it makes you, it really kind of entrances you with the match here. I loved it. Thought it was great. Rob, I'll forgive you this time, buddy. Next up, the men's Money in the Bank match. A match that is going to be talked about for multiple reasons. First off, phenomenal fucking match. I thought this was an absolute banger of a fucking contest. I absolutely loved this match. I am going to get, again, outvoted here because I voted this actually higher than these two did. I gave this match a 9 out of 10. I fucking loved this match. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I thought the spots were great. Penta is a bona fide star. Andrade is Andrade. You know what you're getting when you put Andrade in a match. I wish he got pushed a little bit more, but I also kind of enjoy Andrade and kind of that Sheamus level TV wrestler that just puts on bangers every week. I think that works good for him. He'll get his push one day. As of right now, if he keeps looking as good as he does, they're going to be forced to push him at some point. But I don't think we need to necessarily rush that right now. I personally loved Seth Rollins. I love the fact that for at least 75% of this match, Rollins was not taking a back seat. Rollins was in the action, asserting his dominance, and also asserting himself as the veteran in this crowd. Obviously, Andrade's been in more ladder matches than him, but as far as longevity across this entire dais here, he is the oldest veteran, even if he might not be the necessarily oldest, because I think LA Knight's relatively close to his age, if not a little bit older than he is. But as far as in this match, what they've done across their careers, Seth Rollins is the big veteran in this match. We had, again, as I said, LA Knight was excellent in this match. Grande Americano, Turn Gable, whichever you want to say it, was also excellent in this match. I thought it was incredible spots with him. Again, assuming you agree that he's Chad Gable would just had a banger of a fucking match against Vikingo, which, by the way, if you don't watch the entire Worlds Collide pay-per-view, or event, technically, because it was on YouTube, watch that match. 5-star classic, by the way. If we were actually grading Worlds Collide, that match is a fucking 10 out of 10, as well as that Fatal 4-Way for that North American Championship for NXT. Also a 10 out of 10 match. You guys should check that out too. But again, assuming you agree that Chad Gable is Americano, Grande Americano, he just put on a banger, a very exhausting, intense, physical banger with Vikingo, and then came out and fought this match and put on a hell of a fucking show, took some incredible bumps, got snapped in half by Braun Breaker, which, by the way, that whole fucking segment, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed coming out after Seth Rollins got tired of actually trying. Huge shout out to Solo Sikoa, by the way. Solo Sikoa might have been the MVP of this match. I was very, not unsure, but I wasn't upset that Solo was in this match, but I was like, what are they going to do? Because putting Solo in this match is a relative risk. He doesn't do ladders very often. He doesn't have a lot of moves to play off the ladder, and you haven't really seen Solo take major bumps before that would involve the ladder. That changed, but you never really see that, so I was very curious what Solo's role in this match was going to be, and I love the direction they're taking the character with him being more goofy and funny, and that Joker-style heel. He plays it, I'd argue, better than Seth does. I loved Solo Sikoa's involvement. I still think Penta was the MVP of the match, but I loved Solo Sikoa's involvement in this thing. The Jacob Fatu turn was excellently designed, excellently executed. is definitely going to set up for intriguing television going forward to Night of Champions and into SummerSlam. I thought maybe they pulled the trigger on it too soon. I actually would have liked Solo to have won. Solo was actually my pick to win this match, because I thought the concept of Jacob Fatu finally snapping and costing Solo the cash-in would have been a really good play into SummerSlam. But regardless, the turn still worked for me, and it also makes sense for Seth Rollins to win the briefcase. I know there's a lot of people upset that LA Knight didn't win. I don't think LA Knight needs the briefcase. You could also make the case that Seth Rollins doesn't need the briefcase as a wrestler, but as this character, the direction they're taking Seth Rollins' character right now, this briefcase is fucking perfect for him. And again, I know I said that I'm not including Raw in these ratings, but if you watched Monday Night Raw, you see the vision that Seth Rollins is taking with this briefcase, and it makes sense why he won. So again, I'm not taking Raw into consideration with these ratings. This match was a 9 out of 10 before Raw, but it still makes sense as to why Seth Rollins won and why I was okay with Seth Rollins winning, because I saw this vision before Monday Night Raw ever happened. So to see that it's actually coming true, I was expecting him to cash in on Jay versus Gunther. He didn't. But now, again, he's kind of teasing that he's going to go after Cena and Punk, because of course he is. He can't stop his love, his bromance with CM Punk. But again, I gave this match a 9 out of 10. Kane and Rob both gave this match an 8. Kane saying, star of the match, Solo Sikoa. God, he's absolutely hilarious these days. The facial expressions never fail to kill me. While I'm excited to see Fatu break away from Solo, he's established a great personality. Lots of spots from the word go. El Grande Americano had some of the highlights of the match. Great performance after an all-timer earlier in the night, if you believe the conspiracy theories. Andrade and Penta also had great showings. The match itself was pretty much as expected. Good spots, fun interactions with the various wrestlers. Fireball ladder was, like the drink emblazoned upon it, tacky, a little trashy, and a good way to destroy your body. Winner was obvious, but it was the correct choice, admittedly 8 out of 10. So, again, I'm going to get overruled here, even though I did give this match a 9, because both of them gave it an 8. So, again, I feel like we're all in kind of unison. The match is great, the match banged, winner makes sense, we move on to a very controversial main event. The main event of the evening was Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Cena and Logan Paul. Again, we are not going to include what happened in Raw in the basis of these ratings. My biggest issue with this match, and again, knowing what happens at Raw, it makes sense. However, my biggest issue with this match was that it was basically a typical Uso match. Jey Uso got his ass beat the entire time. Cody Rhodes stayed on the outside waiting for the hot tag to get the crowd fired up. Cena and Logan Paul just took turns beating the shit out of Jey Uso. It makes sense because he had to soften him up for Gunther to beat him, but we're not rating it based off of that. I thought Logan Paul... First of all, let's talk about Cena in this match. It's intentionally slow. Cena's doing this because, A, he can't go 100 miles an hour like he used to, which he never really could to begin with. The Cena matches were always this slow. They're just really slow now. But I did think that he was much more methodical in this match than he was against Cody Rhodes. He was actually, he picked his spots. He was more fine-tuned, I guess. If you're going to go slow, you have to make it look intentional. You have to make it look good. You have to make it look intense when you do actually do a move. I thought he kind of checked all those boxes with this match, where he didn't do that against Cody Rhodes, which is why that match was so lowly rated when we did their ratings. You should go check out that one too when we reviewed WrestleMania 41. But that match was so lowly rated because it looked sloppy. It looked like they didn't know what to do. They weren't able to execute the slow pace that Cena said he was going to execute. Cena did excellent with Randy Orton, and he did excellent in this match. My biggest issue with Logan Paul, outside of the fact that he's a piece of shit as a person, as a wrestler, Logan Paul is excellent at spot A, spot B, spot C, spot D. No one is better. That fucking lion moonsault off the bottom rope on the Jey Uso on the table to take them both out was excellently perfect. Chef's kiss, fucking perfect execution. The problem with Logan Paul is wrestling is not just spot A, spot B, spot C, spot D. Wrestling is, how do we get to spot A? How do we get to spot B? How do we get to spot C? And a lot of that is made up on the spot. They don't have time to plan a 25-minute match backstage. They don't have that time. They don't have time to rehearse every single one of those spots. So the biggest issue that you see with a lot of Logan Paul matches is they have to be rehearsed for so long, which is why you typically don't see Logan Paul weekly, and you also don't see his opponent weekly because they're having to rehearse with Logan Paul. In a match like this, where he doesn't have as many spots in the match, he's able to basically, okay, I'm needed for spot A. I'm needed for spot B. He doesn't know the terminology well enough, and he doesn't know how to communicate it well enough, and he doesn't know how to infer well enough to get from spot A to spot B in an ad-lib sense like so many other wrestlers do. And that makes it so a lot of Logan Paul matches are really kind of like, okay, oh shit, that was so cool, okay, oh shit, that was so cool, because that's basically him as a wrestler. He's great for the spots, and he's great for a match like this, but there are definitely flaws in his wrestling acumen, and I think it deserves to be called out because you saw that really bad in this match. Again, the spots were great, the drone shot was really cool, I think Kane mentions that in this. However, I would have liked to see a better facial expression. He was just kind of there while Cody Rhodes is setting him up. No struggle, no facial expression, just while he's setting him up. And then, if you're going to have a drone on your face, you got to at least try, right? Of course, the big spot of this match was R-Truth coming back. R-Truth coming in, saving the day, returning, blasting him, Ron Killings. I mean, holy shit, that scene last night on Monday Night Raw where he was cutting his fucking dreads. Chef's kiss. But he saved this match, in my opinion. I was going to give this match a 5 out of 10 until R-Truth came out. And that I would say the final 5 minutes of this match saved it from me. Because the first half was boring. The first half was bad. When they were just beating the shit out of Jay for it felt like 10 minutes straight. Again, makes sense. You had to beat up Jay. You had to set Gunther up to take it on. But again, based off of this match, it wasn't a good look. I gave this match a 6. I think we gave it a 6 across the board. C+, 6, yep. So, 6 across the board for all of us. Another Cena match on this retirement tour of depression. Here is what Kane had to say. This match just kind of happened. I'm liking the character work of Cena, but it does feel like the in-ring engagement has taken a big step back. I'm just not excited whenever it comes down to the match, and while that is arguably the point with the whole ruin wrestling thing, it's a bad point. Not going to comment on Paul, my stance on him has been made pretty clear. The spot with the drone camera into the suplex and splash was great though. The match was just working over Jay for 90% of it, leading to Cody tag, while the heels argue. Pretty standard formula for a tag match, but made Jey Uso look pretty useless. A lackluster main event, if not for the elephant in the room, Ron the Truth Killings making his return after being let go by the company, a decision hated by fans, talent, and pundits alike, and not part of the show, regardless of what Triple H spouts to cover his ass. 6 out of 10, mostly for Truth. I agree. Welcome back, Ron Killings. Ron Killings for Universal Champion. It'll be a transition. He can hold it for 2 weeks. I don't care. He doesn't even have to take that title to WrestleMania. He could drop it at the Rumble for all I care. December 13th, John Cena's last match. Ron Killings, career versus title. Ron Killings takes that title. Book it. That's my prediction. Whether he does it at SummerSlam, December 13th for his last match ever, regardless how you want to slice it, I think Ron Killings should take the title from him. Book it. That's my pick. That's my pick. That's my prediction. I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know down below. And I will see you all for the next event, which I believe is Night of Champions, actually. Where the King and Queen of the Ring will be crowned. Those started on Monday. Banger matches so far. Excited to see what's going to be in the actual finals. And also, we are finally going to get John Cena versus CM Punk. Or are we? Because there's still plenty of time for CM Punk to get injured and not go to Saudi Arabia. But a great heel move by Cena, if it does happen, to force CM Punk to fight in Saudi Arabia, where CM Punk is openly disliked. You all have a fantastic night. Or CM Punk dislikes it. Anyway, you all have a fantastic night, and I will see you all next time. Peace.